Hey everyone. Okay, so the news of the day is that we are actually, let me turn the light up a little bit here. So, news of the day is that we are now able to vote for Oscar winners. We're all able on Twitter using the hashtag Oscars fan favorite. We are able to vote on what is our favorite movie, and then on the night of, they're actually going to present it as something that actually gets, maybe not gold, but it is going to be recognized that everyone voted on this as the best movie. So before getting really into this, one thing that people constantly online will go after me for is that I am saying, first of all, yes, I do think that it would be a good idea if this year Spider-Man No Way Home took home Best Picture. First of all, yes, I do actually think, like Black Panther, Marvel did a good job in creating something that is actually worthy of being on that stage. That being said, this is not a normal year. This is not the 80s. This is not the 90s. This is not the 2000s, wherever you are expecting for 45, 55 million people to tune in and watch the Oscars. I think that the Oscars have conditioned people to be in a mindset of you are going to watch these award shows, and then after 3.5, maybe 4 hours of watching, you are going to see a movie win Best Picture, the most important award of the year. You're going to see something win that is not playing anywhere near you, that you might not have heard of, and that you might not have seen. Now, the response to the audience that is sticking around for the Oscars is pretty much saying, well, those people can F off. They don't care about movies. They don't care about art. They don't have good taste. Pretty much being very cynical. People that are sticking around for the Oscars right now are a very cynical group that seem to like a very niche selection of movies, and they think that that defines what is actually best. And therefore, that is what the Oscars mean. Now, there's another group of people that feels like the Oscars are actually a celebration of movies, something that, and there was an article that came out in Variety that said that the Oscars should be seen much more like a Super Bowl, much more like a party where everyone's getting together. No one's going to watch it alone. You're going to be with 5, 6, 7, 20 people, all of you with your ballots, seeing what's going to win. And the question is, do you think that that is something that the Oscars should be? I think that the Oscars should be more of a celebration of movies than it should be everyone saying, well, we actually know what is best and we have to give that to that movie because, of course, no one that is actually having a serious conversation about this is saying that you can at any point know what is actually best. Yes, people love to say, well, this has something to say. Like people say, Don't Look Up has something to say, which is a stupid thing. Is that Ben Shapiro is making movies right now. Those have something to say, but you're not going to give it an award just because of that. Just because you have something to say does not make it a movie that you should say is the greatest movie of the year, or even assume is one of the greatest movies of the year by giving it a nomination, or it's pushing the boundaries. And yes, that's important. And I think that there should be taken into account movies that push the boundaries. But I also think whenever you are voting on these movies, you should take into account that the entertainment industry exists to entertain the audience. And that is why I am saying I do not think that you should look at what is making the most amount of money and you should then give that a Best Picture award. I think that you should take into account something that is pushing boundaries, something that has something to say, and something that is honestly connecting with the audience. And I think now, since we have seen gargantuan drops in viewership since we've gone from 55 to 45 to 30 million to 20 to 15, now under 10 million. It just continues to sink more and more each year. I think there needs to be some type of strategy that the Oscars have, which say, okay, it's going to take a long time to get us back to the path of people actually wanting to watch the Oscars, partake in this party of celebrating movies. So, how are we going to do that? I think a good first step in the long road of getting people back to enjoying this award show would be to show that Hollywood has a level of goodwill whenever it comes to entertaining the audience. And I do not think that it is the audience's job to show the entertainment industry that we're here to support you. It is the entertainment's literal job to entertain the audience. If people are not showing up, then that speaks to the entertainment industry not doing a very good job. Now, it is also very possible that instead what we have right now, and I guess this is me kind of just going on and on about the problem. I am of the camp that says that if the audience is not showing up, then it's because the entertainment industry is doing something wrong. I very wholeheartedly disagree with everyone that is saying that it is the audience's fault because they don't know what it means to enjoy anything that's good. Personally, I think that if you go back through every single year, take the movies that are nominated for Best Picture, and then take the one in the list that's nominated that actually made the most money. I hate when people say made the most money. That means was seen by the most amount of people. you actually have a better list of Best Picture winners if you pick the one that made the most money. That's why I say Green Book was nowhere near as good a movie as I would say Black Panther was. I do not think, I forget what actually, Moonlight won, and that was nowhere near as good as Arrival. Each year that something wins, it is always this niche movie. The last 8-9 years, there's always this very, very niche movie that wins. And whenever you actually see the Best Picture winners, there's normally one in there that most people went to go see. And it's like, just give it to that. And people are like, well, if we nominate it, then that's good enough. That's not really good enough. If you ask people to sit there for 3.5 or 4 hours, you have to, recognize that they want to actually see something win that is good, and you nominate stuff that's good, but they want to actually see something win that they've actually seen. And it's very condescending that if you go half a decade or coming up now on a decade of nominating niche stuff, then it's just not, that's not good. And no, 6 million people in America seeing Parasite is not a large amount of people at all. I think that that's very sad to see that people in the entertainment industry are okay kind of letting go of the audience. And if that's going to happen, then I think that means that the award shows need to get off of TV. Like, what are you even doing there? If you want to just be a small club, then just be a small club and, stop. The Oscars already gave back $12 million to ABC because they aren't worth that much anymore. So maybe just get off TV if that's what you want to do. But I think that if you want to have people stick around for the Oscars, if you want for there to be a lot of people showing up, then you have to make changes. And it is still a business. It is the entertainment business. And like anything else, if you're going to make radical changes, if you're going to evolve, then you have to experiment a little bit. And that's why I don't like, on Twitter or even on Facebook, people that say, we've got this new rule today. We've got a fan favorite vote. So everyone now on Twitter, I think you can make like 30 suggestions a day between now and March 2nd. And look, there are people that say this is ruining what the Oscars are actually about. What the Oscars have become about, and they changed about 15, 20 years ago, what the Oscars have become about is a niche type of movie getting awarded the best movie of the year, and that doesn't connect with the audience. And if we want to shift that, it's going to take some time. And I don't think that it's fair to call out that this is a bad step forward. You have to make any step forward to see if it works, see if it works halfway. If it works halfway, see what actually connects with the audience, and then see the half of it that didn't connect with the audience. See if there is anything worthwhile in what it is that you're doing. And this is a concession that gives full power to the audience. And so, look, this is not me saying that it's a prediction that it's going to be perfect and that this is amazing and that this is going to change the Oscars for the better and it's going to connect the audience with the entertainment industry and see me back in 2 years and this is proof that the Oscars need to just reach out to the. I think that this is a good step of saying that they want to actually get the audience. They see the audience as a stakeholder in what this industry is about. And anything that is moving in that direction, I think is good, whether or not it ends up being successful. I mean, you got to experiment. You can't, it's not about just making one decision that's going to fix everything. Anyway, if we have bad Oscar numbers this year, that's going to reflect on how the Oscars went last year. Like, it's one night out of every single year. It takes a very long time to see how changes are affecting things. It's probably going to take 3 years of giving Best Picture to something that people actually, when they hear, oh, that won Best Picture, is like, I saw Dune twice in the theaters. That was incredible. And it won that night. It won, like, after the whole show, Dune took the gold. Next year, if something big is nominated, people will be like, you know what? Maybe they're actually going to give it to stuff that we're watching. People are going to show up. People are going to actually interact more. And so I like that they're taking a step in this direction. I think that it's cynical and whiny to kind of be down on this decision. And I would like the Oscars to, come back into the fold with the audience and have a big gathering. And I think that it's cynical and it's mean-spirited to say that the Oscars shouldn't be for the masses. Take it off TV. It doesn't belong there. It'd be great if it came back. I mean, movies are accessible. Movies are accessible, let's face it, more so than books. It takes you 2 hours. You can take the whole family along. You can all watch it together. It's more accessible than the Tony Awards. Like, you don't have to go to New York City in order to watch it. You can go down the road and watch an incredible movie that's playing. And why in the world should the award shows that represent the industry, that connects with everyone around the country, everyone around the world, why should it be about movies that barely anyone is watching? That just doesn't, if that's the way that they want to go, then that is a change. And I think that it's a change for the worse. I'm not saying that I think that this ability for fans to vote is perfect, but I think that it's a step in the right direction. And I think it's cynical to call out that it's a bad idea to do so. A few comments. Fuzz Aldrin says, hey, how's it going, Fuzz Aldrin? There are only 2 types of movies superhero movies and woke movies. I don't know about, I mean, there are definitely a lot of superhero movies that dominate the market. I don't know if I agree that there are only woke movies. I mean, I know what you mean, that there are movies that have become very, very preachy. It's very hard to not find a preachy movie every now and then. And I don't think it's a good idea to be giving international movies Best Picture winners, but I really liked Another Round. I thought that was a really, really strong movie. Also, I see that you said that you vote for Pig. I still need to watch Pig, but that also wasn't one that I think a ton of people saw. It definitely made its way through, but that type of John Wick movie, maybe you might also define that as a superhero movie. But I don't know. There are quite a few movies. The movie that I really loved of 2020 was Bad Education, which was in no way a woke movie. I feel like not enough people saw that. It was an HBO production, but I thought Hugh Jackman, Allison Janney gave an absolutely stellar performance. I was very disappointed that that didn't make more headlines. I think that would have been a really great movie if it had gotten more awards recognition. I think that would have been a good one if the Oscars had the cachet that they had in the 90s and the 2000s. Then a movie like that winning, I think if people had gone to see it, it's not the movie that maybe deserves all of the pomp and circumstance that you get from an award show, but it's a really, really solid story. And also Nightmare Alley. I wish if we were in a better climate, Nightmare Alley would be something that more people are interested in seeing right now. I thought that was a really strong movie, and one that kind of had a bit more, I don't want to say traditional values, but it was more of like a traditional cautionary tale than, something that has a message and is just trying to shove it down your throat. I just get more upset about the messages constantly being shoved down everyone's throat just because no story is good with that. No, every story gets distracted by something. It's like a car accident on the side of the road on the way to Disney World. It's like, yeah, we're still going to Disney World, whatever. It could be a good, interesting story, but that's literally all we're thinking about. Now you pause the entire thing to just kind of tell us, what you want to do. And it's not the point of what we're supposed to be doing here. It's not entertaining at all. J.L. Spraggins, question, how many writers does it take to change a light bulb? Answer, do we have to change it? Yeah, and that's the other thing that's weird. Whether it's talking about the strike that was going on earlier in October, because people in Hollywood, if you're on the crew, you're working like insane hours. Like they were fighting for 10 hours. They wanted 10 hours off from work. 10 hours, like clock out, then clock back in, and only 10-hour break. Hollywood, like the crews voted and they were saying, no, we don't want that. We're not going to vote for that. The majority ended up not going with that idea to change things. And then something like this is kind of like, well, we're losing viewerships. No one's interested. Well, let's change nothing. And why don't we give an award to the 3-hour Korean movie? It's like this. It's some of the most conservative business practices of all time. And that's why it's like a dirty secret about that industry, which is very strange. Academy must have a contract with Twitter for this. That was another thing I was wondering. I assume also because the Academy has such little pull with the audience that you can't ask the audience to go to the Academy's website. No one's going to do that. It has to, I like that they're meeting the audience where they are. I feel like if you're going to do something like this, that's probably the only way that you're actually going to get people to come and contribute to what you're asking them to contribute to. That being said, I am curious if it catches on. Obviously, Spider-Man No Way Home is, I think, the favorite to get something like this, which if it does, good for it. I think it's good for everyone to hear the Oscars say the movie that everyone loves is good. We see that it's good. We see that it has a place. We see that it's worthy. I mean, what Marvel's done has never been done before in the history of cinema. Again, cinema is only 100 years old. Like this is, if you want to look back on look forward 300 years from now, look back on what's going on with Marvel right now, for better or worse, is what you think of it right now. It's going to be seen as a landmark in this type of an industry with this type of technology. To be the people right now that kind of look at that and be like, there's nothing special. There's nothing experimental. There's nothing interesting or boundary pushing about something like that. Then I don't think that's going to age well. JL Sprankins, I like the voting idea. Something different. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You got nothing to lose. And honestly, you're probably going to get a few more people. And what I just hope for is that if it goes well, I hope that there is not just a level of cynicism flooding Twitter. And actually in the room, I hope people are not kind of flooding with cynicism about the audience saying something that they like that won. I mean, Dune was one of the most watched movies of last year. That's a blockbuster movie. That's an incredible blockbuster movie, connected with tons and tons of people. They brought it back to IMAX. It was doing so well. They're probably going to do it again whenever the Oscars get closer. wish that I hope that this catches on. I hope that people are more accepting of the Oscars doing changes, because I mean, with any business, if you're not doing well, you're going to have to experiment, and it's stupid to say, oh, well, you're experimenting. How could you experiment? That's stupid. So leave your thoughts if you're watching this after the live stream. Are you going to vote? What is it that you're going to be voting for? I will definitely be voting a few times for Dune. I'll watch Pig, see how Pig is, and also Green Knight. I would have loved, and yeah, Green Knight's not one that a bunch of people are watching, but man, I would love for it to get some type of mention that night. We'll see what happens. Well, thank you everyone for watching. And if you've not done so already, please subscribe to 5 Minute Critic for future updates on reviews and movie news.